Hello, we are Team 3 who will present the River Abu Dhabi. Our team members are Kim Minu, Ko Dong-hee, Kim Ha-gyun, Min Jung-yeol, Song Se-hun, and Han Jong-won. In this session, I would like to talk about the background and design elements of Abu Dhabi that led to the construction of the building.
First, let's look at the background of Abu Dhabi's creation of the River Abu Dhabi. The United Arab Emirates became independent of the British Protectorate in 1971. Since then, they have grown at high speeds based on huge amounts of the oil. In the United Arab Emirates, there are Dubai and Abu Dhabi, the core of the emirate. Dubai has been aiming to develop an expansionist system that relies on foreign borrowing capital. Unlike Dubai, which is obsessed with speed and scale, Abu Dhabi has pursued a long-term development strategy, and its development strategy is a practical and eco-friendly approach. In fact, Abu Dhabi has greened more than 80% of its land with $150 million of its oil money. They also developed a cultural tourism industry to diversify their oil-based economy. Here, Abu Dhabi will be selected as Saadiyat Island, where the culture and tourism industries will be held. The reason lies in the past. Arabs lived in the former United Arab Emirates before the current Islamic settlement. At the time, the source of their lives was water. The people of the coastal settlements flourished in the water and built their own villages. Of course, water was closely related to the architectural environment. However, when selecting the site, Saadiyat Island did not function as well as it could have been. Therefore, Abu Dhabi wanted to attract cultural tourism to the island, reconstruct the island's functions, and restore its feelings of the past. The first building in the culture business to capture this meaning is the River Abu Dhabi. However, the process of discussing the construction of the River Abu Dhabi, which has so much meaning, was not smooth. The biggest objection was the French question surrounding the prices of cultures in both countries. The content of this question is anxiety about the transformation of the National Museum into a global brand. However, in the end, the answer to the question was separate the traditional departments of the museum from the reflection of cross-culturalism and hold a new kind of exhibition consistent with globalization. Eventually, after discussion, the construction was confirmed and the River Abu Dhabi was built. Next, I will explain the construction process of the River Abu Dhabi, which was designed through this process. In 2007, the French government and the United Arab Emirates signed the Abu Dhabi Universal Museum Establishment Agreement. The agreement calls for the establishment of a museum named after the river in Abu Dhabi. The name river has been used for 30 years and 6 months. The collection in France will be offered to the River Abu Dhabi by 2026. Also, in charge of professional consulting education related to museum management and planning. The United Arab Emirates will provide a total of about 1 billion euros to the French government for the aforementioned service. 400 million euros was used to rent the name of the revue. 21 million euros was spent on the mecenate project in the revue, and 190 million euros was used to rent the collection. 195 million euros was used for the museum exhibition and operation, expertise, education, and consulting. So, how is the budget for the revue today? 40% are supplemented by public subsidies, and another 40% of the tickets are sold, and 20% are financed by their own resources. Those resources include profits from the endowment fund, rent paid by the boutiques at the revue, and rentals of the palace for private events. Jean Nouvel painted Middle East color over the brand image of the revue. That is Revue Abu Dhabi. Designed by an architect, Jean Nouvel, Revue Abu Dhabi was built as the heart of a new urban district for the capital of the United Arab Emirates. A symphony in concrete, water, and the subtle play of reflected light, its design was inspired by the region's rich architectural traditions and the museum's unique location at the point where the Arabian sky meets the sands of Saadiyat Island and the waters of the Arabian Gulf. The biggest attraction of the Revue Abu Dhabi is dome-shaped ceiling. A dome is a circular ceiling and is called cupola in Italian. In our buildings, the dome shape originated from a small leather tent carried on the backs of camels by Arab nomads. Jean Nouvel was inspired by the dome shape of Arab buildings and applied it to Abu Dhabi. The design of the Revue Abu Dhabi's dome comes from arabesque, a traditional Arab pattern. The main reason why Arabs made arabesque is that they do not make statues or murals depicting people or animals. Since only God can make humans or animals in the Islamic Bible, the Quran, human-made sculptures and paintings are prohibited because they can flow into idolatry. To reject this idolatry, the Arab traditionally uses arabesque with geometric patterns of plant stems and leaves. 8 layers of these arabesque patterned layers were overlapped to form a dome. There are a total of 4 types of patterns used, and there is a support in the middle of different 4 layers. Each layer of the dome has a star-shaped, hollow structure in the middle, which uses the traditional Arab architectural style of mashirabiyah. Mashirabiyah is a type of protruding window surrounded by a wooden grid in the traditional window style of Arab cultural cities. There is a wind hole to prevent the hot heat in the Arabic culture, through which light comes in. Jean Nouvel introduced the Mashirabiyya style to make a hole in the roof to create an oasis that keeps people out of Abu Dhabi's hot temperature. The ceiling of the River Abu Dhabi is designed to transmit only about 1.8% of the sun's light through these holes, protecting the interior from the heat of the hot desert and keeping it at a constant temperature. The dome of the River Abu Dhabi has 7,850 holes, which not only serve as windrods, but also serve as a star in the sunlight. Each star form is unique, and the result is both technological and aesthetic fit, as called rain of light. Throughout the year, the position of the sun varies from day to day, every hour, and every minute, creating a different form of rain every time in the River Abu Dhabi. So, people from all over the world with different beliefs, culture, and aesthetic standards can appreciate various works of mankind while watching different lights every time. Next, we will explain the design of the buildings inside the dome. There are a total of 55 buildings inside the dome, and they are divided into exhibition spaces, cafeterias, educational spaces, and management spaces. These buildings are designed like islands on the sea, which were conceived in archipelago. Archipelago, also known as the island group or island chain, was inspired by sandy islands near Abu Dhabi's beach. In order to create an island on the sea, seawater was supplied by connecting waterways inside. The shape of this waterway was inspired by Palaji, which is an ancient irrigation system in the United Arab Emirates. And the form of the building is generally composed of low buildings inspired by the form of traditional Arab villages. Jean Nouvel took the idea from Abu Dhabi's traditional market, souk, and woven it into external movements such as narrow alleys, waterways, and squares. Thus, Jean Nouvel was inspired by the tradition of the United Arab Emirates, where Abu Dhabi is located, and completed the design of River Abu Dhabi